Greetings and welcome to Fright Night Flix, where every night is Fright Night. After revealing my top 10 worst horror films of 2025 just 4 days ago, I thought it was time to flip things around and talk about my top 10 favourite horror films of 2025. As always, this list is completely subjective, so please don't take it personally if your favourite doesn't make an appearance. Horror hits everybody differently, and that's part of what makes the genre so great. With that all said and done, let's dive into my top 10 favourite horror films of 2025.
Then let's get started.
Kicking off this list at number 10 is Predator Badlands, the second Predator film released in 2025. I'll admit the film does start off a little bit slow, but I generally expect the bold decision to make a Predator the central protagonist. There are even extended sequences where the characters speak entirely in their native language, which gives the film an almost international visual first storytelling vibe that I really appreciate. Visually, Badlands is a spectacle. That said, the heavy reliance on green screen and visual effects can occasionally pull you out of the experience. Tonally, it's a little bit tamer than traditional Predator films, likely aimed at a slightly younger audience, but the action sequences still deliver where they need to. The real standout here is Al Fanning, who plays dual roles and effectively confirms the film's connection to the alien universe. One performance leans more comedic, the other far more commanding, and together they highlight just how versatile she is as an actor. The performer behind the Predator mask also deserves praise, conveying real emotion purely through physicality beneath the mask. While Badlands is entertaining and well crafted, I do think Predator Killer of Killers was more deserving of a theatrical release. Still, this is a strong entry overall, and Al Fanning's dual performance are easily the biggest highlight.
You go.
In ninth place is 28 Years Later, the long-awaited sequel to 28 Days Later, and a thunderous return to horror for Danny Boyle. It's easily one of the most visually daring and emotional grounded entries in his filmography. Written by Alex Garland, the film blends a bleak post-apocalyptic Britain with a child's wide-eye perspective, creating a story that feels both intimate and deeply harrowing. Boyle's signature grit is back in full force, making him feel more alive as a director than he has over a decade.
He's back!
Shot largely on iPhone by Anthony Dodd Mattel, the film takes huge visual risks that pay off, immersing you completely in its fractured world. It's a bold, kinetic experience that remains firmly character-driven, never losing sight of the human cost behind the chaos. Breakout star Alfie Williams delivers a remarkable grounded performance, while Ralph Fiennes is holding restrained, anchoring the film's emotional weight. Boyle excels it with atmosphere, pacing and tension, while Garland's writing gives the story its bruised heart. The only thing keeping 28 Years Later from ranking higher for me is its controversial ending, which left me conflicted, though I'm hopeful it will be further explored in the Bone Temple next month. Still, this is an outstanding return to form for both Boyle and the franchise, reaffirming why he remains one of the most versatile and fearless directors working today. In 8th place, we have The Monkey, which ended up being one of my biggest surprises of the year for me. I enjoyed it far more than I expected and was never bored for a second. The film is generally hilarious, striking a near-perfect balance between horror and comedy without letting the humour overpower the scares. It also smartly follows its two main characters from childhood to adult, giving their arcs real emotional weight. Even with Osgood Perkins' signature open-ended approach, the film still delivers a satisfying conclusion.
If you're good at something, never do it for free.
In fact, it's now my favourite Perkins film, overtaking Longlegs. Perkins really showed his versatility as a filmmaker here. Where Longlegs was raw and unsettling, The Monkey is colourful, vibrant and visually playful, perfectly matching its comedic tone. The cinematography features some striking shots, the editing keeps everything flowing smoothly, and the score enhances the balance between humour and horror. The death scenes are another huge highlight, becoming increasingly ridiculous as the film goes on. They have the same over-the-top energy you'd expect from something like a Final Destination or Terrifying movie. Perkins' own cameo death is especially absurd and unforgettable. Theo James delivers the best performance I've ever seen from him, playing twin brothers with real depth and range. Christian Convoy also deserves praise for playing the twins as children, perfectly mirroring James' performance in the film's first half. While the supporting cast, including Tatia Maslin and Elijah Wood, are solid, they do feel a little underutilised. Still, their brief appearances are memorable, and the film never loses its momentum. Overall, The Monkey is one of the most entertaining and hilarious horror films I've seen all years, and I wish he did that with Keeper. In 7th place, we have Good Boy, one of the most unique horror films I've seen from a first-time director in a long time. It puts a genuine fresh spin on the haunted house genre by telling the entire story from the perspective of a dog.
No way!
While the core plot beats may feel familiar, framing the narrative around a canine protagonist makes the appearance feel surprisingly new and refreshing. It's a simple idea, but one that's executed with real confidence. From the opening, the perspective alone pulls you in. What really sets Good Boy apart is its inventive cinematography. The camera work is constantly tethered to the dog's movement, allowing us to experience the world exactly how he does. The editing works hand in hand with this approach, piecing together everything the dog witnesses into a cohesive and engaging story. For a debut feature, Ben Leonberg achieved something generally impressive here. The film stands out purely through its visual language and point of view. Indy, Leonberg's real-life dog, is unquestionably the star of the film. His performance feels natural, expressive, and often plays like a fully realistic acting turn rather than an animal simply being directed. While the human cast are solid, Indy completely outshines them, delivering one of the best canine performances since the dog from Anatomy of a Fall. The synth-heavy score also deserves praise, enhancing both the tension and atmosphere throughout. Overall, Good Boy is one of the most original horror films of the year and a fan favourite for good reasons. In 6th place, we have Bring Her Back, the sophomore feature from the Philippe brothers, who continue to take Australian horror by storm. Lately, I've been craving a truly elevated and innovative horror film in the veins of Get Out or Midsommar, and after a run of disappointments, this felt like a much-needed return to form.
Nice.
The film tackles heavy themes like grief, death, family and resurrection, while also incorporating the foster system, something rarely explored in horror. The added layer gives the story a grounded, emotional core that makes the supernatural elements it even harder. Compared to Talk to Me, which I already loved for its iconic imagery, Bring Her Back feels like a clear upgrade. The Philippe brothers have grown immensely as filmmakers, and it really shows in their control of tone and atmosphere. The story is especially effective, carrying scenes with its creepy sense of dread that never lets up. The cinematography is also stunning, with beautiful composed shots that elevate the film's symbolism and emotional weight. Combined with the eerie psychological tension, the Australian setting adds a fresh, grounded edge. The cast across the board is excellent. I really appreciate the decision to mostly use unknown actors. It made everything feel more raw and authentic, but the standout without question is Sally Hawkins, who delivers not only the best performance in the film, but arguably the best of her career. She's unsettling, unpredictable, and completely mesmerising in a way we've never seen her before. Bring Her Back as a standout modern horror that solidifies the Philippe brothers as major voices in the genre and proves Sally Hawkins can absolutely dominate darker, more complex roles. In 5th place, we have Weapons, Zach Krieger's latest feature, which tells its horror mystery through a Rashomon-style structure, presenting the story from multiple characters' perspective. It's a bold approach that I don't recall seeing done this effectively in horror before, and it works brilliant here.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Every character feels essential to the narrative, allowing for strong development and deeper emotional connections. Beneath the surface, the film weaves in thorough subtext around addiction, adding surprising depth to the story. Like Barbarian, Weapons is best knowing as little as possible. The direction the story takes generally surprised me, and while most of it pays off, my one gripe is the opening narration claiming it's based on a true story. The film doesn't need that framing, and I honestly think it would have been stronger without the narration at all. Visually, though, this is a major step forward for Krieger. Larkin's supplies cinematography is stunning, filled with detailed composition and experimental shots that heighten the tension, while the score perfectly sets the tone. The editing deserves special praise for keeping the complex structure clear while steadily building suspense. The ensemble cast is excellent across the board, with Josh Brolin delivering one of his strongest performances in years, Julia Garner and Alden Ehrenreich shining, and strong support from Austin Abrams and Benedict Wong. But the standout for me is Amy Madigan, who steals every scene she's in. Overall, Weapons is a fantastic follow-up to Barbarian, one of the most exciting, inventive horror films of the year. In 4th place, we have my favourite international horror film of the year, Best Wishes to All. For his directorial debut, Yuka Shimosu expands on his short film with complete control over tone, pacing and mood. The story follows a young woman returning to her rural hometown, uncovering dark family secrets that reveal the hidden cruelty of the community. It's layered, unsettling and haunting in a way that lingers long after the credits roll. The cinematography is cold, precise and beautiful, while the editing builds tension with a steady, dreamlike rhythm. The story creeps under your skin, enhancing the slow burn dread. The raw setting feels alive yet compact, and most of the unknown cast ground the story in realism. The protagonist anchors the audience, making every discovery and scare feel deeply personal and immersive. At its core, Best Wishes Tour explores generational decay and the darkness lurking behind tradition, blurring the lines between psychological and supernatural horror. Samuku trusts the audience to feel the dread without over-explaining, creating a suffocating, unforgettable atmosphere. This debut is confident, original, and one of the most chilling Japanese horror experiences of the year, a slow burn masterpiece that's impossible to forget.
Now I can't get it out of my head!
Before I reveal my top 3, remember to hit that like button, subscribe to Fright Night Flix, and follow us on social media so you don't miss a single scare. What are your top 10 horror films of 2025? Please let me know in the comments down below, and make sure to check out all my past videos on the channel. Now, back to my top 3.
Top 3? Top 3.
In third place, we have Predator Killer of Killers, my favourite Predator film of the year. This unique installment tells 3 standalone stories set in the Viking era, feudal Japan and World War II. Each segment explores humanity's encounter with the iconic hunters, and while any of them could stand alone, the film weaves them into a cohesive and satisfying narrative.
It was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
The animation is a major highlight, blending 2D and 3D with gritty texture style that gives the film a cinematic, raw feel. Benjamin Wallife's score is phenomenal, easily the best music from a Predator film since Alan Silvestri's original, and it captures tension and cultural nuance across all 3 eras. The voice cast delivers an authentic, emotionally grounded performances that bring the story fully to life. Dan Trachtenberg proves once again why he's a perfect steward for the franchise, crafting a film that feels like a passion project. Killer of Killers passes even prey with masterful storytelling, rich world building and striking animation. It's easily the best Predator film to date and deserves the recognition it gets as a standout entry in the Predator franchise. In second place, we have Frankenstein, Guillermo del Toro's adaptation of Mary Shelley's classic, which I was lucky enough to see in cinema before it hit Netflix. It's faithful to the original novel, while feeling completely fresh, with strong pacing that shifts seamlessly between the perspectives of the sea captain, Victor Frankenstein, and the creature. This makes it one of the most engaging and digestible adaptations of the story. Magnificent! 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 Visually, the film is breathtaking. The production design, cinematography and costumes are meticulously crafted, while Alexander Desplat's gothic whimsical score perfectly complements the world. Guillermo del Toro's balances grandeur with restraint, and the performances are outstanding. Oscar Isaac excels as Victor, Mia Goth impresses with her dual roles, and Jacob Elordi delivers a powerhouse turn as the creature, blending vulnerability and menace. Overall, Frankenstein is a beautiful piece of visual storytelling and one of Del Toro's finest achievements. It's beautifully crafted, emotional, powerful, and easily ranks among the best horror films of 2025. Before I give you my number 1 pick, here are a few honourable mentions. Die My Love. Jennifer Lawrence gives a career best in this bizarre turn from Lynn Ramsey. The Stooges, a great comeback for director David Cronenberg, who expressed his grief through art fantastically. Rabbit Trap. This Dev Patel-led British indie horror deserves more love for its unique use of sound. Black Phone 2, a sequel that didn't need to be that good, with Madeline McGraw giving a career-defining performance. Death of a Unicorn. This was definitely a fun satire on the rich that blended with horror very well. Presence. Steven Soderbergh's Ghost features one of the most unique experiences I've ever had seen a movie this year. Jurassic World Rebirth. My favourite sequel in the Jurassic Park franchise, thanks to having the same sense of wow as the original. And now, we're on to my number 1 pick, which is... taking the top spot as my favourite horror film of 2025 is Sinners, Brian Coogler's vampire epic. Huge props to Coogler for stepping away from IPs and real-life stories to create something wholly original. Set in 1930s Southern America, the period setting is flawless, with stunning production design, textured costumes, and practical effects that make the world feel gritty, atmospheric, and completely immersive. Visually, the film is a knockout. Coogler's collaboration with cinematographer Oren Jarrell Akapa delivers some of her best work yet, with every shot full of style and creepy dread. Ludwig Göransson's score is haunting and electric, perfectly complementing the horror tone while adding richness to the era. A standout musical mashup scene is both unexpected and unforgettable, making the film a feast for the senses. The cast is exceptionally low across the board. Michael B. Jordan impresses in a dual role as twins Stack and Smoke. Jack O'Connell is terrifying as the villain. Haley Steinfeld shines in her best role since True Grit. And breakout star Miles Caan absolutely owns the lead role. The story blends vampire lore with African American history and culture, balancing tone, genre and stakes in a way that feels epic yet deeply personal. Sinners proves Coogler is more than just a blockbuster filmmaker. He's a visionary storyteller, and that's why Sinners is my favourite horror film of 2025.
Yeah, well, you know, that's just like your opinion, man.
Thank you for watching today's video. Tune in next time where we reveal the winners of the 2025 Fright Night Flix Film Awards. But until then, keep the chills alive, and as always, stay spooky.